Welcome to the UNCG Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. If you're still eating, please continue, but we're going to go ahead and begin the ceremony. My name is Mike Roach. I'm the Executive Associate Athletic Director for External Operations, and I am thrilled to celebrate the induction of 5 former student athletes and 2 former coaches. Before we start the ceremony, there are a few things I would like to do. First, I would like to recognize all former UNCG Hall of Famers that are here with us today. At this time, will past inductees please stand so we can recognize you? Come on, stand up, stand up. These individuals represent the very best of our history, and they are true Spartans. Now I'm going to have UNCG's Chancellor, Franklin D. Gilliam Jr., come up to welcome everyone. Please welcome Chancellor Gilliam to the podium.
Good morning. Thanks, Mike. I was glad to see so many folks turn out this morning to our honorees and have all of you on campus. I know some of you haven't been on campus in a while, and so I hope you notice some of the great progress we're making. Before I get started, I thought it would be appropriate to take a moment to acknowledge those who are dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. I was actually stuck up there at the Biltmore, and what we went through was difficult, but not hardly as difficult as those that are there now. It took us 8 hours to get out and get back to Greensboro. But the devastation in that region is immense, and it is going to take a great deal of time to recover, and I know many of you have family and friends up there, so they're thinking of us. Now, we have hundreds of students, UNCG students from Western North Carolina, and we have been reaching out directly to them, and we have been making a variety of services available to them. Put more plainly, think about it if you're a student and your family's business or home has been lost, and you're in school and you have to pay your bills and so on. It's very difficult, so we're supporting them. We're also providing support to our sister institutions, App State, UNC Asheville, and Western Carolina. And I learned this morning that we're housing 30 UNC Asheville baseball players on our campus, and A.D. Mackin is making those arrangements. So we hold these mountain communities close to us, and we're extending the full support of our Spartan community for the long recovery. After all, our university's motto is service. Thank you. Some people paid attention. But that's the Spartan way when we help out when folks are in trouble. So I think it's appropriate, even in a celebratory event like this, to acknowledge and empathize with the pain and suffering of our fellow North Carolinians. Today we celebrate some of the greatest athletic moments in our university's history. And this is our opportunity to honor 5 former student athletes and 2 coaches, as Mike said. Now, what you may not know is that, I know I may not look like it anymore, but I was a D1 scholarship athlete. If you saw me walk, you probably get it. So I understand what it takes to be a student athlete at the Division I level and come from a family that has done it. So these inductees and their accomplishments are clearly related to their personal sacrifices, their discipline, their commitment to excellence, their perseverance in the face of obstacles. We've talked about it a lot among us, us former jocks, that sports teach you so many life lessons that you carry over into your life and your occupation. And these traits of resilience and discipline and commitment and team are learned on the fields and on the courts for our student athletes. So our inductees are providing significant inspiration to our current student athletes. Their level of excellence is what I think our student athletes seek to achieve. So it's fitting that we take time during our homecoming. We have our extended Spartan family here. If you've been on campus yesterday or even this morning, the campus is buzzing. We had a huge bonfire that I lit last night about 30, 40 feet high. You know it's a big fire when the fire department guys, I look behind me and they start backing away. And I said, well, ooh, maybe I need to get out of here before they blame me for this. But we're thrilled to have you here and thrilled to see so many former student athletes back. It's interesting, walking in, you see people greeting each other, hadn't seen each other in years, maybe played on the same team together, went to school at the same time, and it's just great when they see old friends and old teammates. And when you're a teammate, you're sort of a teammate for life, right? You keep up with some of your fellow athletes over time and tell war stories, and they get further and further from the truth as you age. Yeah, right, Mr. Mackin? But I'm just thrilled to be here this morning, my wife Jackie and I. I want to congratulate this year's Hall of Fame class. I want to thank you to all of our inductees and our supporters for your impact on UNCG athletics. As most of you know, the landscape of intercollegiate athletics is changing dramatically. It's something that we don't recognize, and we really appreciate your support. Your support now means more than it ever has, because this new world with the NIL is hard to traverse that terrain. It's difficult. But we remain committed to excellence at UNCG, and today's inductees remind us of that. So thank you all for coming this morning, and as always, go Spartans.
Thank you, Chancellor. Next, I'd like to call up Director of Athletics, Brian Mackin, to say a few words. Please welcome Brian to the stage.
Thanks, Mike. What a great crowd this is. This is something I look forward to every year. When we brought it back in 2023, we had a ceremony. It had not been, we had not inducted Hall of Famers since, I guess, 15, and we brought it back, and we had a ceremony in January or February of that year, and then we had another one in October. So we want to do it every October during homecoming because of this and the buzz on the campus. It's fantastic. Chancellor, thank you for your words of wisdom there. What people don't understand, and you really have to get inside the athletic department and the university itself, is the support from the chancellor or a president to the athletic director, and we've got that. And I want everyone to know the commitment that he has to all of our student athletes, but to me as well. And I mean that a lot, Chancellor. I really appreciate you. And Jackie, thank you all for being here. You got a busy day. It goes without saying, I echo the same words as the Chancellor for the support that we're trying to implement for the communities in the western North Carolina area in our sister institutions. I think it's very important for everybody to bond together. We are going to be, there's 30 beds that we're going to have for baseball players coming over. They're going to be here for about 2.5 weeks on our campus, in our facilities, and I think that's part of what we're trying to do, is help help our North Carolina sister institutions. I first want to recognize some folks that are here, and then we're going to get on with the ceremony because it's not about us, it's about y'all. Is that we have two Board of Trustee members here. First, Chairman of the Board, George Hoyle, is here with his wife Kathleen. Thank you for coming. And then Board Member Dale Phipps and his wife Barbara are here. And I've always said, and I mean this, is if you have a chancellor and a Board of Trustees supporting athletics, that trifecta, you can't imagine how that makes me feel, and it's tremendous support by those individuals, and it's great. We have several of our head coaches and our athletic staff here. Would you stand up, please? Make y'all stand up. They'll recognize them. We have great coaches and we have great staff, and that's what makes their student athletes so successful. I always recognize the first athletic director here, Nelson Bob, kind of my mentor. Nelson, stand up. He took us to Division I. Special thanks to Mike Roach. Mike stepped in as the MC. We appreciate that, Mike. You're doing a great job so far. Just don't screw it up. Danielle Sandridge, where are you? She made this whole thing. Stand up, Danielle. Danielle, she's fantastic. She did a lot for this. So today we celebrate and welcome back some of the greatest student athletes and coaches in UNCG history. Bringing this Hall of Fame back means a lot to you, and it means a lot to this university. With our unique history, we were Division III, Division II, and Division I. We were a women's college. We've come full gamut. It's fantastic. It's extremely important that we're able to recognize all those that made a footprint for our current student athletes to follow. As Hall of Fame inductees, your legacies will live on, so future generations of Spartans will always be reminded of your impact to the game, to the university, and the Greensboro community. So Mike, with that, let's start the show.
Thank you, Brian. All right, now it's time to induct this year's class into the UNCG Athletics Hall of Fame. We will call up each inductee and presenter one by one. With that being said, you might be able to tell right now that we are missing one inductee. Paul Chelimo could not be here today because he is in Africa training for an upcoming marathon. We will hear from Paul shortly, so please welcome to the stage his presenter, who was his coach here and is a 2025 Hall of Fame inductee, Linh Nguyen.
Sorry for the bait and switch. You guys all thought you were going to get to see Paul, and all you got was me. It's a big honor to be able to stand here and present Paul Chelimo. With respect to all the past, the present, and the future UNCG Hall of Famers, I don't think it's hyperbole to say that I'm introducing the greatest athlete in UNCG history. I could fill a speech with all the accolades and accomplishments of Paul as an athlete, including school records that will never be broken, SoCon titles, All-America honors, 2 Olympic medals, World Championships medal, and many others. However, I feel I'm in a unique position to tell about the other sides of Paul that some of you may not know. I wish he could be here today for many reasons, but for those of you who have not been able to experience Paul and his personality and his charisma, I hope I can tell a couple stories to share those other sides of him. The first thing that probably most people who know Paul think of is his sense of humor. One of the funniest people I've been around. And so I want to tell a story about this teammate Paul had. A teammate who is obsessed with the culture and the lore of Kenyan distance runners. He constantly peppered Paul and the other Kenyan kids on the team with questions about how and why Kenyan runners were so good and so amazing, to the point where I think it kind of got annoying. So on one trip, Paul was rooming with this teammate, and the kid kept asking him questions. And so Paul told him, Kenyans stuff their nostrils with tissues when they sleep at night to train their lungs, and that's why they're so good. So the next morning at breakfast, the whole team got a good laugh of the fact that this kid slept the whole night with tissues stuffed up his nostrils. He stopped asking questions after that. Next thing I think about when I think of Paul is selflessness, his sense of responsibility, and hard work. And so if any of you were here at UNCG at the same time Paul was, you probably saw him around the athletics facilities working with Aggie and Josh. He was on a full scholarship. He didn't need to work because everything was paid for. The reason he did was because he took all his scholarship money and he sent it home. He had a younger brother and sister, and his parents couldn't afford to send them to school. And so if Paul didn't send his money back, they were not going to be educated. He worked with Aggie so that he could use that money to pay his rent and to buy his food. It paid off for him because both his brother and sister were able to go to school and graduate, and both actually came to the US on scholarships for track and field as well. But that's the kind of sacrifice that Paul would give for other people. The other thing I think about with Paul is loyalty and the high character. After UNCG, Paul joined the Army to gain US citizenship and find a career. He was lucky enough to be accepted into the world-class athlete program, where he could train and compete as a representative of the US Army. After winning a silver medal at the Rio Olympics, I called Paul and I tried to convince him to exercise a clause that allows WCAP athletes to forgo their remaining Army obligations and basically leave the Army, get out of the Army if you win an Olympic medal. Paul could have opted out of the last 2.5 years of Army obligation and signed a Nike contract, and I was worried that by not doing so, he was forgoing millions of dollars. He wouldn't hear it. I tried multiple times and he wouldn't. He told me the Army made him a US citizen, supported him at the start of his professional career. He loved the United States and made a commitment to the country that he intended to keep. He gave up 2.5 years of his highest earning potential as a professional athlete through contract and race appearance fees because he is a loyal and principled person, truly one of a kind. It was amazing to get the chance to work with a once-in-a-lifetime athlete such as Paul, but more so, it has been an honor to be a coach, a fan, and a friend to one of the greatest people ever brought into my life. It is my pleasure to present Paul Chelimo into the UNCG Athletics Hall of Fame.
I'm super happy and humbled to be inducted into UNCG Hall of Fame. It's a prestigious award, and I'm so happy, I'm so excited. I wish I could join you guys, but sorry, unfortunately, I'm preparing for December marathon, which is it's gonna be in Valencia, and I'm out here in Kenya for a training camp. And also, it's just tough traveling all the way from Kenya to the United States. It will take me about 3 days to get there. So I wish I could really join you guys, but as I said, you know, it's a tough year for me. Like I didn't make the Olympic team, so I have to get the standard, the time in December. So it's a very special event for me, and it's also a debut in the marathon. I'm moving up the marathon, so. But it's been a journey. Being a student athlete in UNCG was amazing. Amazing times. You know, being out there with Nguyen and being inducted into the Hall of Fame with my coach Nguyen, it's an amazing accomplishment, an amazing feat. You know. So, and also I remember like the first time in SOCON conference when I was the SOCON champion, Coach Linh too was the coach of the year. So really we are like in the military we say battle buddies. Me and Linh were battle buddies, and really Linh has made me who I am today. When I came to UNCG, I was a very innocent athlete, just there to learn and accomplish a lot, and one thing I got to, the first time I got to Link's office, he was like, hey, I know you're gonna be a fast kid, but one thing I want you to be, you're a student athlete. I want you to do really good in class. Don't be just that fast athlete. So he made me who I am today. He has supported me all through. Also, like, massive thanks to Kim Record, the athletic director. You know, when I went to Rio, he sent out Mike Roach, my guy. Every time, like, I work with Mike Roach, and he sent Mike Roach to Rio Olympic Games, and I mean, he showed up there, and really that was a motivation for me and makes me feel like appreciated. UNCG staff just traveling all the way out to my first Olympic Games, and me being an Olympian and also getting a medal was just an amazing feat. So being a two-time Olympic medalist has been a really, really amazing journey. And apart from that, like, my family, you know, my family has been there for me. You know, my daughter always, she never understands why I go to the Olympics and get second or get third place. She's like, Dad, you never win. I want you to win today. So really, I'm working hard, moving up the marathon, and hopefully in the marathon, I can make my daughter happy and be an Olympic champion in the marathon. So because I have a silver, I have a bronze from the Olympics, so I only need one thing, which is gold, you know. That's why I wear a gold watch, because I need the gold, you know. So it's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing. I remember, like, growing up, like, the DeBrew family, they used to visit me and encourage me and support me. Yeah, so the Osborne family, they used to bring me poultry. They have a lot of chicken, so they used to bring me, like, organic eggs every week and milk. So, you know, it's those type of things and those type of people that have made me who I am today, and I'm really, really humble and excited. You know, Stacy Koziak was there for me every time and making sure I do good in class. You know, it's just amazing. Aggie Aguilar was there for me. She supported me. Which is good. So it's amazing. It's amazing. Quadjo still, you know, Quadjo. Every time I used to, after my classes, I used to go for the for the after classes tuition, and Quadjo was always there for me. So it's really, really an amazing journey. My UNCG athletes, you know, student athletes, they were there with me. They kept supporting me, and I really, 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 and I appreciate everyone who has been part of my journey. And I always, one thing I believe, you know, I always bleed blue and gold, you know. I'm always a Spartan. Once a Spartan, always a Spartan. And that's where I got my mantra: go out or suffer the rest of your life. Because that's how the Spartans do, you know. The Spartans, when you go to war, you have to fight all the way. Go hard all the way. Go hard or suffer. So it's really, really amazing. I'm super, super humble. It's been a great journey, and really, I can't thank you guys enough. And I'll come back again. Once I'm back to the United States, I'll come back, do you guys a visit, and thank you.
Just for clarification, I did not go to Rio, so I can't show any pictures or anything. Matt McAllister from our sports information office is the individual that went. I would have loved to have gone, but not me. Now please welcome to the stage inductee Joey DeAngelis, along with his presenter, UNCG Athletic Hall of Famer and former baseball player Nikki Yelverton.
Good morning, everyone. Congratulations to all of this year's inductees. It's a tremendous honor for each of you to be recognized for your outstanding athletic careers and achievements during your time at UNCG as student athletes. Now for Louis Joseph DeAngelis, AKA Joey D, number 19. When Joey asked me to be his presenter, I was absolutely honored, and knew it was my responsibility to make sure everyone truly gasped why Joey D is deserving of this unique and distinct honor. Joey was a part of the original recruiting class for UNCG Baseball's startup program, brought in by Coach Gasky, Neil Avent, and Jim Knight. As a pioneer of the UNCG baseball program, Joey played a crucial role for 4 years. He had the entire He and the entire 1994 group of 7 seniors are the foundation of UNCG baseball's current success. Joey and this group truly paved the way for the baseball program. All right, let's take a trip back to the fall of '93. My freshman year, Joey's senior year. During one of the first fall scrimmages, Joey D absolutely crushed line drives to the gaps or over the fence. It was at that moment I realized that this guy could really hit and was special. Not only could he hit, he had an unmatched swagger on the diamond. As you can see here, there he is right there. The guy could just do it. And Joey never needed to tell his teammates to step up their game or energy. His actions and level of play spoke volumes. He quietly led his team by being a role model on and off the field. Joey knew how to get the most out of his teammates by being supportive yet assertive. He continues to exhibit these leadership qualities in his professional career, often sending me videos of him being recognized for exceeding company expectations and consistently outperforming his peers as he did on the diamond. He was one hell of a basketball player too. To give everyone an idea of Joey's accomplishments during his student-athlete career, here are some statistics. Single game records that still stand: 5 runs in a game in 1994, 6 hits in a game in 1994. Probably who they're scrimmaging today is, I would bet, who that was against, so maybe not. That was a batting average raising team we played against there. Single season records for Joey: runs scored, 61 times he touched home plate, which is 11th currently, still standing. Doubles, 21. He was a doubles machine. I think everybody that played with him felt like every time he came up to bat, it was going to hit off the right center field wall. He wore the wall out. Walks, he had 49. He had a great eye, and pitchers knew better. He's tied for 3rd there. Walks, he had 49. I'm sorry, I just said that, didn't I? Slugging percentage, 622, which is 11th, still standing. On base percentage, 485 and 482 for 2 seasons. He got on base nearly 50% of the time he got up to bat. It's crazy. 7th and 9th currently, still standing. Career standings, top 11 in 7 categories. Hits, he's 11th. Runs scored, 166, which is 6th. RBIs, 145, which is 6th. Doubles, 60, 1st. Doubles machine. Home runs, 24, which is 8th. Total bases, 361, which is 7th. Walks, 136, which is 1st. He was an annual team leader. Led his team in 3 offensive categories. In 1993, he led the team in batting average with 333. 1993, he led the team with hits with 55. 91, 93, and 94, he led the team in doubles machine. 10, 18, and 21. In 1993, he led the team in triples. Hard to believe, right? Triples were tough, especially where he hit the ball, right center field gap. 1994, he led the team in RBIs with 47. 93 and 94, total bases 95 and 125. 94, he led the team in walks with 49. 93 and 94, he led the team in slugging percentage, 576 and 622. And in 1993, his on-base percentage, he led the team at 457. Joey was a Big South first-team All-Conference in 1994. He was the part of baseball's first conference championship team. He was on the first UNCG division team of any sport to record an NCAA championship win, and we didn't just win 1, we won 2. Joey's also part of the 1994 team that was inducted into the UNCG Hall of Fame in 2010. By the way, welcome, Joey, to the dual inductee team. Wink, wink. Joey's legacy is one of excellence, leadership, sportsmanship, and inspiration. His contributions to UNCG baseball have left an indelible mark on the program, setting a standard for future generations. Joey's dedication both on and off the field continues to inspire those who follow in his footsteps. His sportsmanship, characterized by hard-nosed respect and integrity for the game, has set a high bar for all athletes. It is my absolute pleasure and honor to present Joey DeAngelis into the UNCG Athletic Hall of Fame.
I might have to wake you guys up. Nikki probably put y'all to sleep with all my stats. I know it can get a little boring sometimes, but none of that's possible, obviously, without great leadership and coaches and all my guys back there. God bless y'all for coming. What an amazing event. I want to thank the selection committee, obviously, first and foremost, Mike and Danielle for putting together an amazing event. Last night was incredible. I mean, from the moment I got the call, there's so many people I wanted to see. Nelson and Kathy Roberts, obviously one of the first people I saw last night, and it kind of brought me back to, almost felt like I never left campus. But thank you guys for everything and putting this together. I'm super humbled and grateful. So I've had some time to kind of reflect since I got the call from Brian, I guess it was about 3 months ago. And I was joking with him last night. Didn't recognize the number, so I didn't answer it. And I hate I missed it, but I'm glad he left a voicemail. And didn't really give a lot of information, told me who he was, and for me to call him back. And I initially thought that, I knew I left here with some unpaid parking tickets, and I thought possibly that's what he's wanting to call. But anyway, we had a great call. He told me what he was calling about. Immediately became pretty emotional and humbled, for the opportunity. So since then, obviously it's been a few months, had some time to reflect and mentally kind of go back and see where this whole thing started with me, and to say it was a solo adventure would be a stretch. I started thinking, like, why did I start playing baseball? My dad was a great All-American football player at NC State and never really pushed me to do anything in football. So baseball and basketball was just kind of my natural, and he was always there, helping me and guiding me. And I can remember being young, and my parents owned an Italian restaurant, so we always would have 5-gallon buckets that used to, we would get food or stuff in, and we would regurgitate and use for random things. One being, putting baseballs in and going to the park and taking batting practice. And we always had another 5-gallon bucket that, my dad not only taught me to hit, he taught me to fish. So we had a 5-gallon bucket that I knew if I heard my dad in the shed fooling with the bucket, we're either going hitting or we're going fishing. So, growing up and being around that family atmosphere, I think it's shaped me into the person that I am today, not only since I've been here on campus, but I've been super blessed and fortunate to have an amazing former team and current, best friends. We have a text thread that we all stay in communication with. And as I was running into former guys last night, there wasn't an exchange that didn't have I love you, man, I miss you, man, we need to see each other more often kind of vibe. But kind of backtracking a little bit with my bucket story. I know a lot of people have bucket lists. So now as we've gotten to this point, I still do a lot more fishing, no more BP. I don't have a bucket list, but I have, I guess, like a mental virtual bucket where I store special moments, birthdays, celebrations with my family or my nephews. And tonight is, today is a time where I could put this moment in that bucket, and it's easy to say that my bucket is overflown. So thank you, guys.
Congratulations, Joey. Now please welcome to the stage inductee Kyle HInes with his presenter, former UNCG teammate Kevin Alexiak.
Hi. Hello, everyone. This is truly an honor to stand here today as we welcome Kyle into the UNC Greensboro Athletics Hall of Fame. For those of us who know Kyle and have followed his career, this recognition is really no surprise. However, if you saw his jump shot back in the day, or if you could see him in our dorm room in his baggy shorts well below the knees, an oversized Timber Creek t-shirt, his socks that he would quite literally put on backwards, and his big-ass hands just clumsily knocking over everything in our room, you might wonder how we got here. The word legendary is thrown around in our lexicon a lot these days, probably too much. You turn on sports debate shows or log on to social media, every musician or athlete is a GOAT or a living legend. Kyle's journey from UNC Greensboro to a remarkable professional career that spanned 16 years is truly nothing short of legendary. As a member of the UNC Greensboro Spartans, Kyle became one of only 6 players in the history of college basketball to score over 2,000 points, grab 1,000 rebounds, and block 300 shots. He still leads the program in scoring, field goals, field goal percentage, free throw attempts, blocks, and scoring average. He was the 2005 Freshman of the Year, the 2007 Southern Conference Player of the Year. He was the first UNCG player to be named All-American, and he's the first and only UNCG player to have his or her jersey retired while still being active. Shout out Nelson, that was pretty cool night. But Kyle's impact extends far beyond this campus. After his collegiate career, he embarked on an extraordinary professional journey, playing overseas, becoming one of the most decorated European basketball players, becoming one of the most decorated players in European basketball history. And he is widely considered the greatest American basketball player to ever play European basketball. He's a 4-time EuroLeague champion, 3-time EuroLeague Defensive Player of the Year. He was recognized on the EuroLeague's 2010-2020 All-Decade team. He's a EuroLeague's all-time leader in games played, and he has won 23 league or tournament championships as a professional. Over the last 2 decades, Kyle has earned himself an endearing reputation as a leader and a winner. He is widely respected by some of the best players, coaches, and general managers in the world. He has represented UNCG on the global stage with the same excellence and humility that defined his time here. But what truly stands out isn't just the points, rebounds, or blocks. It's Kyle's leadership, his relentless work ethic, loyalty, and humility on and off the court. He's used his platform to inspire younger players, giving back to the community, and always carrying himself with class. Kyle has become an incredible family man. He's a devoted husband and father, always putting family first, even with his packed schedule. His love and dedication to them show the true character of the man behind the athlete. Kyle, you've come a long way from that 17-year-old kid with questionable shooting form and very questionable fashion choices. Your career and character are Hall of Fame worthy, and you are a true living legend in the basketball community. Congratulations, my friend. You've earned this, and we are all proud to be here to celebrate with you today. I am proud to present Kyle HInes into the UNC Greensboro Athletics Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Noah. All right, I gotta try to get through this one. I just recently retired, and there was going to be a moment that I knew that was going to come where all these emotions were going to come, and that moment's coming right now. So you got to bear with me a little bit as I try to get through this. First off, I just want to say congratulations to all my fellow inductees. For me to be getting inducted tonight or today, I feel honored to be a part of such a illustrious class of inductees. Thank you to the university and Chancellor Gilliam. Thank you to the athletic department, AD Macklin, the Hall of Fame committee, and all those that put this amazing event together. Thank you to all my friends and families and teammates, coaches, faculty that I haven't seen in such a long time for celebrating with me tonight. Hey, Cash. First, I got to thank my mom and my dad. Thank you for all the sacrifice and all that you have put in for this moment right here. I know that it's going a long way. I know that there were many days and many nights and many times of driving me to practice, or Dad, after long nights of working in the casino and driving down 8 hours just to come to the games and just drive right back. Mom, the same with you, trying to find your way or make your way down here. All that is much appreciated, and I thank you guys so much. It's been great to see old friends and reminisce about our times together. But one of the things that I've noticed is that when you're 17 and you're 18 years old, you take a lot of things for granted. Things like these type of moments. You don't really know the impact that your 4 years, some of us 5, some of us 6, some of us 7, on campus is that going to have for the rest of your life. You don't know that the loud guy at the back of the cafeteria, still the loud guy in the back of the room, is one day going to marry you and your wife. You don't know that one day your teammates who you run in and out of dorms with struggle through practice, literally getting cursed out by worst coach to Met. Straight back, every single day. Is one day going to be your lifelong friends. One day is going to be your neighbor, your godparents to your kids, and your kids are going to run around and call uncles. Or competitors on a whole nother continent that are going to be labeled champions together. You don't think that your boys and your brothers from Jersey are going to continue to show up no matter wherever you are, country by country, and still to this day, even with work, even with other obligations, are still going to show up for you no matter what. You don't think that your 6-year-old sister, who used to follow you everywhere, is one day going to follow you to your university and graduate from the same university as you. You don't think, sorry Dad, cover your ears for this one, Mrs. Smith, you don't think that the girl that used to sneak down from New York on weekends will one day be walking around campus with you with your 3 kids, Justin, Anya, and Cassius? You don't think a school that you were just coming to play basketball with will one day induct you into the Athletic Hall of Fame. On my way to Greensboro today, I realized that my first time stepping on this campus was 21 years, exactly 21 years from today, where I had my recruiting visit. I think I was talking to Josh Gross about it, that 21 years ago in 2003, I came on my recruiting visit and I came to UNC Greensboro for the first time. My first thought after thinking that was like, damn, you're old. My second thought was all those feelings that I felt the first time I came on UNCG's campus. We drove up Walker Avenue, and within 5 seconds, much to the chagrin of my mom and my dad, I knew that I wanted to be a Spartan. I was ready to commit that day, that moment, and as my dad always says, you don't kiss the first girl, or you don't marry the first girl you kiss. But I had already made my mind up. I knew from the moment I was on campus that I wanted to be a Spartan. Well, 21 years later, I made that same turn up Walker Avenue yesterday with my wife and my kids, and those same exact feelings came back. And it reconfirmed me that same feeling that I knew exactly why I chose to be a Spartan. This university is a special place and is evident by the group of inductees this morning. All play different sports, all of us are from different places, different cultures, but the one thing that I know that we all have in common is our feeling towards this campus, our feeling towards this city, and how much this university has had a large impact on our lives. I know today is about celebrating our individual and team athletic performances and achievements, but to me, being a Spartan is much more than being an athlete. To me, it's a celebration of being a Spartan and champion, much what Chancellor Gillian said, the Spartan way. And what is the Spartan way? To me, the Spartan way is how you carry yourself on a daily basis, striving to be the best version of yourself every single day, and doing the best you can to be a great representative of yourself, your family, and your community. 20 years later, the Spartan way, the foundations of this university, and the foundations of the city are the big reason why I've had the success that I'm able to have today. I'm a proud Spartan, and I carry that shield everywhere I go, no matter where I'm at in the world. Not because of the records or the championships, because of this right here. The love, the support, and the admiration from everybody in this room. Thank you to the university, thank you to the athletic department for giving me the honor of being in the Hall of Fame, but much more importantly, thank you for giving me the tools to become a better person and a better man today. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Kyle. Now please welcome inductee Joe Lowe to the stage with his presenter, Jason Troller.
Good morning. My name is Jason Troller, and I have the privilege of introducing Joe Lowe, wrestler, class of 2007. But first, I would like to thank the UNCG Athletic Department for hosting a wonderful event and honoring those that have left their mark here at UNCG. A special thanks to Danielle and Mike for making this a memorable event for all current and previous honorees and their families. And of course, the Hall of Fame nominating committee. You have a monumental task, and based on what I've learned this weekend, you definitely hit the ball out of the park with this year's Hall of Fame class. I got the opportunity to coach Joe when he was a freshman in high school and new to the sport of wrestling over 25 years ago. There was something about him that was different. And he'll tell you that he wasn't very good as a freshman, 9-19, and that'll always stick in my memory because it was an awful record. But he was willing to do everything you asked. He was committed and willing to put in the work, the extra work, the workouts, the extra time on the mat, and it all worked out, culminating in a 53-0 record as a senior and a state championship. But he wasn't noticed by UNCG and Coach Shiflett as a senior. He was noticed by UNCG and Coach Shiflett the year prior, here in Greensboro, the Super 32, where he lost. He lost to a Division I commit, and what was different about that match is that he was losing 1-0 in the third period and tore his ACL. He continued to move and didn't stop the whole third period. He did end up losing that match 1-0. We ended up forfeiting the fourth to fourth place. But on the way home, I got a call from Coach Shiflett and UNCG, and the rest is history. The point of the story is that Joe wasn't a state champion yet, but others saw in him what I saw in him. His character, his commitment, his dedication, his grittiness, his never give up mentality. He was building that character foundation in high school, and he was able to foster and grow those traits here at UNCG. Those character traits allowed him to become a 3-time conference champion, 3-time NCAA national qualifier, and where it really matters is in the life he's living today, in how he is raising his family and giving back to his community. None of the honorees today could have made it here alone without the help of others along the way. And Joe would be the first to admit that he had a ton of support. From his stepmom, Mindy, who's here, his grandparents, Rick and Linda, sitting in the audience, to his family, his coaches, and a ton of teammates. I mean, I couldn't believe how many I was meeting yesterday from all years. So, and especially his wife, Rachel, who has been there from the very beginning while Joe was here at UNCG. She was a pillar of strength and support for Joe, in which I feel was a driving force for him to finish his degree, fulfill his commitment to the UNCG wrestling program, find faith, and help raise his oldest son Elijah while here at UNCG. Joe's character has led him to become a great father of his 4 children, husband to his wife, brother to his siblings, leader in his career, mentor to youth, and a friend you can count on. The nominating committee can count on Joe to uphold and represent the UNCG Hall of Fame, what it's all about. The legacy and mark that they have left through their athletic successes here at UNCG and successful paths that they laid in their life they are living today. Without further ado, I'm humbled and honored to introduce to you your 2025 Hall of Famer, Joe Lowe.
That's my coach and my best friend. Thank you, Jason. I wouldn't be half the man I am today without your love, support, and guidance. I will always be grateful for you, Jason. Good morning. My name is Joe. I graduated from UNCG in 2007. I wrestled and started 4 years and accomplished many accolades during my time here. It is an absolute honor to be named among a Hall of Famer among some of the prestigious names out here today. I want to first start off by introducing my family, my immediate family. My oldest son, Elijah, he's the blondie over there. He made me a dad while I went to school here. I was a sophomore when Rachel and I had him. Isaac, the kid with long hair, he's funny, he's witty. And I love spending time with them. He wrestles, they both wrestle, and we have a mat in the garage, and we grind all the time. We go out there, it's amazing. Caitlin, she's beautiful. 13 years ago, she made me a girl dad. I still remember, like it was yesterday, the day she was born. Then we have Ayla. Ayla, she's 5. Hi, Ayla. There's a big gap between Caitlin and Ayla, 12 years. So, but she's such a little joy. She's my joy. She goes by Ayla Badelas. And then my sidekick, my Proverbs 31 wife, my rock, my everything, Rachel. I love you so much. Words cannot describe. My time here at UNCG was special. I made friends for life. Like, there's 50 wrestlers that made it here today. Every table almost represents a wrestler. Those are my friends for life. Like it's phenomenal. We went out last night and there's 40 people. We went to downtown Greensboro. There's wrestlers representing everywhere. And this is like Jason, he told me last night, he goes, once you have this like click, it never leaves you. And this is it. These are my people. I love it. I love it. So appreciate you guys. I married my wife, like I said, 18 years ago. We had our first kid. I was a sophomore here. I have so many stories and memories here at UNCG. Some good, some not so good. A whole lot of character building. Financially poor. I had no family within 1,000 miles. It was just me, Rachel, and Elijah, I quickly had to figure out how to become a man. In 2005, I surrendered myself to the Lord, and I got saved right here in Greensboro off of Clifton Road Baptist Church, watching some of my teammates that would cause trouble. Not going to name anybody. Mark Clark, where you at? And Chris Pennsylvania, but they would come with me on Sunday mornings, and they surrendered themselves to the Lord too, right there in Clifton Road. That's amazing. I remember taking my firstborn son, Elijah, to wrestling tournaments with me. I'd sit him up in the stands, and he'd watch me wrestle. And I could be wrong here, but I feel like I was the only student athlete with a child at the time. I don't know, dude, maybe my memory serves me wrong. The struggle's real, but me and my wife endured, and all the glory goes to God. I have a vivid memory of telling Rachel to grab Elijah and head to the Southern Scuffle It's a huge tournament that we held right here at the Greensboro Coliseum. And I was wrestling the #1 guy in the entire country. His name was Ben Ashgren. He wrestles for the University of Missouri. I said, grab Elijah. I just want you to take, your camera out and then take a picture. We're like, I'm wrestling the #1 guy in the country. Take a picture. He's in the corner and see what she could do. But he had me wrapped up, cradled up, and pinned in less than a minute. She couldn't break out her flip phone, from back in 2007, to take a picture. I just wanted a picture. It never happened. And I guarantee he could still probably do that today because he's a legend too. This kid that we had while in school here, he grew up, and last March, he won a high school state championship down in Florida, just like I did, and he earned himself a Division I scholarship, and he wrestles in the Southern Conference at University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, and I wish he would have followed me in my footsteps and wrestled here, but unfortunately, we dropped the program in 2011. But it would have been my dream, but he wrestles in the Southern Conference, and he will be a Southern Conference champion, just like I was. Mark my words. For me, being a father was the top of my totem pole of becoming a man. It was ahead of any dreams of career, fame, or wealth. It was being a father that was the paramount. If I can do this well, then I really pulled something off. That is when I really succeeded in life. In a world that diminishes the importance of fatherhood, statistically speaking, those kids end up in prison and they drop out of school and they live in poverty. Last month, I got a text from Rachel, my wife, saying I should go to a men's group at church, and I seen it advertised on Facebook, and the leaders at church, they talk about it often. I didn't want to go. I thought my time was more valuable, and I could be in the garage wrestling with my boys. But I did. I showed up. That night I did. I dropped the kids off at their youth group, and as soon as I walked in, I heard the topic of conversation was the importance of fatherhood. Ironic. For my relationship with my father was my deepest, darkest wound. What I value the most is time. Time together just puts weight in your soul, something that I've always wanted. I felt like I wanted to walk out that night, but it was a total God thing. I didn't. For most people, you end up just like your father or the complete opposite. My goal was to be the best father that I can possibly be and always continue to do so, and that to me is success. Jesus is a prototype for how a man should be. Sending my oldest boy off to college last month, I called him and I told him how much I love him and how proud I am of him. But like all my kids know how deeply proud I am and I love them. I thank God for the men I do have in my life. I am by far no expert, but if you're struggling with a relationship with your father, the best thing you could do is spend time with your kids, go home and show them how much you love their mother. And if you're one of the lucky ones that still has that relationship, cherish it. But I am fortunate to have men like Nelson Bob, Joe Stanton, he was a former UNCG Hall of Famer. I still talk to him all the time. Dennis Cumbie, my stepdad, my grandpa, and of course Jason Troller, my coach, my best friend. I talk to him every day. I currently coach down in my hometown in Lakeland. I coach youth wrestling. We have hundreds of youth athletes pour into that room each week, and it's a completely free program. I want to give back the same opportunity that I had. I want to mentor these kids and teach them how to become leaders, because these guys right here, they taught me. It is an absolute honor to stand up here today and share my testimony. Philippians 4:13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I got it right here on my wrist. Those words that Paul wrote, they live deep down in my soul, And all those words apply to all of us. It is my duty to live by those words and pay it forward, just like those that did for me. Thank you, Rachel, for always supporting me in everything I do. I love you to the moon. Thank you, Grandma and Mindy. I love you guys. You guys support me with everything. Today, I am a UNCG Hall of Famer, and I could not have done it without my village. This weekend, I get to share that honor with those that I love the most, my family, my teammates, and my friends. You guys represent thick, okay? And I appreciate each and every one of you guys coming out. We're going to have a good weekend. Thank you guys so much. God bless.
Congratulations, Joe. Now please welcome to the stage inductee MaryBeth McGirr and her presenter, UNCG's first AD and UNCG Athletics Hall of Famer, Nelson Bob.
So I want the folks here to understand what a Spartan looks like. Past student athletes, past involvement in this department, please stand and look at the volume that's here. Please stand up. Past Spartans, past involvement in the athletics department, coaches, look at this. And yeah, I went off script, but after 26 years of getting beat up here, I can do it. The year was 1978. And the university had decided to reduce the number of sports to reflect its ability to financially support a fledgling Division III department. One of the sports eliminated was the women's golf program under the mentorship of a graduate student head coach named MaryBeth McGirr. There had been numerous outstanding individual golfers, and indeed UNCG had won the 1973 AIAW National Championship, but interest and funding waned. They were never recognized by the university until we brought them into the Hall of Fame. It was a bright day when we announced the reinstatement of women's golf as part of our move to Division I, and what truly brightened that announcement was that we were able to hire a professional named MaryBeth McGirr as our first head coach. UNCG was very fortunate with this hire. A well-established, successful coach with numerous Coach of the Year credentials already, and renowned as a teacher of the game. She was also a proven recruiter. An intellectual of the sport of women's golf, MaryBeth had her Spartans up and running in year one with a makeshift group of ladies. Her recruitment would yield top competitors from North Carolina and around the world. Those individuals were soon molded into a highly competitive and cohesive team. Indeed, Becky Morgan is already in the Hall of Fame, and today we will add Kareen Qually Nelson as an inductee. MaryBeth propelled UNCG not only into a competitive regional force, but also her guidance helped place our name into the national picture. Her teams won 7 tournaments from the 93-94 season through the 95-96 season, including back-to-back Big South Coach of the Year. She was twice that. 5 different individuals were named all-conference for a total of 11 in a 4-year period of one. One team participated in the NCAA East Regional, and again, there was Becky and Kareen's accomplishments. Unfortunately, it was a sad day when MaryBeth decided to depart, but she had established UNCG as a respected women's golf program. I've always been thankful for her incredible work ethic, her mentorship, our successes, and our friendship. We recognize her accomplishments today as I'm proud to present MaryBeth McGirr into the UNCG Athletics Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Nelson. You were very good at your job as athletic director. And I remember we sure had some fierce battles on the racquetball courts, playing a little cutthroat. Remember those? I'm both honored and humbled to be a member of this outstanding UNCG Athletic Hall of Fame. UNCG holds a special place in my heart, and I have so many fond memories. My days here began as a graduate student, and the old log cabin was still up on the hill. Jan remembers that. I thought it was a fitness facility, but I've since learned last night that there's a bigger and better one built over across the old High Point Road. As a graduate assistant, I was a women's golf coach. We had 2 players at that time, and I was also the cheerleading coach, which I knew nothing about. It was also here that I met the most influential mentor of my life, Ellen Griffin. Ellen taught me how to teach golf at her facility called The Farm, located south of town. She was also the one who recommended me for my first college coaching job at Southern Illinois. I was a Saluki, which I did for 5 years, while taking on the men's team as well as the women's team the last 2 years of my career. But the pull of the East Coast was too much, and I returned to Greensboro, where I taught for many years with Ellen Griffin. I also took on a part-time coaching job as a women's golf coach at Wake Forest University. And after 3 years, I guess, they decided to make it a full-time job, and they decided they would add women's athletic director to the job title to make it golf and women's athletic director. And to me, that sounded like 2 full-time jobs. So my return to Greensboro also included a short stint as a men's golf coach at Greensboro College, which was a really fun thing in my career. And then I was recruited to cross Market Street and come back to my roots at UNCG. My 5 years at UNCG were special as we rebuilt the women's golf program from the ground up. The feather in my cap was getting Becky Morgan to sign on, and she eventually became a 2-time All-American. Having successfully signed Kim Qually and then her sister Kareen, rounded out by a few other solid players, including Tiffany Enselman, who's here today as well. We worked hard, but we had tons of fun as well. I think they can attest to that. One brief story that I have took place during an 18-hole practice round session at Bryant Park. We were on the 17th hole of the players course, and due to a holdup, both of our groups ended up on the tee. My group played first, and I can vividly recall the perfect 7-iron that I hit, which I thought I saw drop into the hole for my first hole-in-one ever. I was so excited and turned to ask if anyone else saw it. Out of the 17 members there, the only one who actually saw it besides me was the lone freshman on the team. The others were totally unfazed and carried on conversations. After all, I was just the coach. Coincidentally, about 3 weeks later, I was on the Champions course when Kim and I witnessed Kareen having her first hole-in-one ever. Remember that day? I'm not sure she saw it. Now I've had 5 holes-in-one after playing for nearly 60 years, and believe me, the thrill never gets old. Those of you who are golfers know that. But the relationships formed with players here created lifelong and wonderful memories for me. As a member of a private country club in Savannah, Georgia, I never divide the monthly dues by the number of rounds of golf that I play every month. Likewise, in coaching, you never divide the number of hours spent with team activities by your salary. It would just never make financial sense. And yet, I wouldn't trade my career in coaching for anything. I love the players I coached here, the fun road trips, the conference championships, and the many other successes we had. I also love the intellectual stimulation that comes at a university, and also the sense of community. And Greensboro is a wonderful community. I suppose the rigors of coaching made my decision to retire easy, and after 4 major knee surgeries, it allowed me to move to Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia and finish my career with the First Tee program in Roanoke. And there I cherish being able to mold and positively influence the lives of young people. My passion for growing the game continues today as I still volunteer for the First Tee in Savannah, Georgia. I hope I was able to get the women's golf program back on track here at UNCG, and I think Ashley's continuing that great tradition. There's always been a rich heritage here, and I'm blessed to say I was a small part of it for a number of years. As Ellen Griffin, my mentor and a longtime teacher here at UNCG once said, and I quote, "Some people deliver lectures and sermons. but the ones you remember the most are the ones who deliver themselves. I hope I did just that in my years at UNCG. Many thanks and congratulations to all of these outstanding members of this class. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, MaryBeth. Now, please welcome to the stage inductee Nguyen and his presenter, former UNCG cross-country runner, Nick Vaccaro.
Good morning. You comfortable? Okay, good. When Linh called me and told me that he was being inducted, I wasn't surprised at all. I was, however, caught off guard when he asked me to introduce him. He's had a storied coaching career with star-studded student athletes, much more accomplished than I ever was. But then it hit me. It came to realize that Linh asked me to introduce him here today as a way of thanking me for all of his coaching success. Might be confusing, don't worry, I'll explain. So back in '06, when the head coaching job opened up, I went to my future wife, Stephanie, and proposed that we write a letter of support for Linh to be hired, have it signed by all the student athletes on the team, and deliver it to Nelson Bob, who was the athletics director at the time. After Linh was hired, he told me that in his interview with Nelson, Nelson held the letter up in the air and said that it spoke volumes. Volumes, Linh. So Linh, I'm here to tell you, in front of all of these people, especially all of the cross-country and track and field alumni here, you're welcome. It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure to serve as the catalyst for all of your professional success. We truly never will know if Nelson would have hired you without that letter because I paid him off before I came on stage. So, jokes aside, I'm truly honored that you chose me to introduce you into this esteemed 2025 Hall of Fame class. When I was 18, I came here on my recruiting visit and remember having a long conversation with you outside the HHP building, just minutes before you were announced as the new assistant coach. When you took over as head coach in 2006, I was one of many student athletes that would thrive under your tutelage, causing me to wonder what could have been had I had another year or two of eligibility. The foundation of your coaching legacy was built on the footsteps of our 2006 men's cross-country team. You coached us to a third-place finish at the SoCon Championship meet, which was the highest finish in school history at the time in your first year of coaching as a head coach. You continued to elevate the program through strong recruiting and top-tier training, which culminated with the men's and women's SoCon Championship titles in 2011, along with Coach of the Year honors. I could sit here and list some of the student athletes whose lives you've impacted. Many of them are here today, but the list would be too long and I would most certainly forget several of those names. But that being said, the names that I would forget, you never will, because great coaches remember all of their athletes. They remember the ones that go on to be two-time Olympic medalists, just as much as they remember the ones that didn't train over winter break. On a more personal note, in addition to coaching me for 4 years, you've been a friend and a mentor for over 20. You hired me as an assistant coach in 2008, where I discovered my passion for student-athlete academic advising. This sparked a 13-year career in that field, which led me to Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia, where my wife and I officially started our family. So Linh, I'm here to tell you, in front of all these people, thank you. Thank you for serving as the catalyst for all of my professional and personal success. Ladies and gentlemen, 2025 UNCG Athletics Hall of Fame inductee, Nguyen.
I've given Nick a lot of crap over a long time, and I figured this was his chance to roast me, but he didn't take it. So before I get started, I want to acknowledge the UNCG cross-country and track family. We lost a member a year ago, and sorry. I just want to thank Mike Roach and the Spartan Club for recognizing him today with a spot, because I know he would have loved to be here. So, anyway, sorry. Well, I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees recognized today. It is pretty humbling to be included in this group, some of whom I had the pleasure of watching train and compete during my time at UNCG. Second, I'd like to thank the committee for choosing me for this great honor. That they felt I belonged among the many great athletes, coaches, and administrators already in the Hall of Fame is a truly humbling thing. In my opinion, getting to any Hall of Fame as a coach is not about what you did. It's about what others did. Coaches don't train. We don't compete. We merely guide, lead, and facilitate, and advise those who do train and compete. So I don't feel this is about me today, and I'd like to take the time given to me to thank those who got me where I am at this podium accepting this honor. First and foremost, I have to thank my wife, Christina. Everything I've achieved was only possible in part because of her love, support, and patience, and Nick's letter. It takes a special person to be spouse of a coach, and even more special person to be spouse of this particular coach. If anybody in our family is Hall of Fame worthy, it is her. I'd like to thank my children, Coy, Vilon, and Liam. I was once told by Michelle Chewins that I got soft after I had kids. If I did, it's because they have taught me compassion and patience. They're my biggest supporters, regardless of outcomes, and I love them dearly. I'd like to thank DeAngelis and Rochelle Roberts for being great friends and mentors to me. To Nelson Bob, no thanks will ever be enough. He took a chance on me as a 28-year-old, made me the youngest head coach in Division I at the time. I owe my career not only to him giving me that chance, but being an amazing mentor and friend throughout my entire coaching journey. What can I say about Kathy Roberts? Every coach should have a C-Robs in their life, not only to tell them, very specifically, the best way to get to every SoCon campus, but also to be a mentor, a confidant, and a friend. I honestly could dedicate an entire speech to this woman, but those of you in this room already know why she's so special. Being a young coach at UNCG was made easier because I was surrounded by amazing coaches like Lynn Agee, Mike Dement, Michael Parker, Mike Gaskey, Emily Marin, Patrick Nicholas, Eddie White Lightning Radwanski, Terrence Stewart, and others. Thank you for all the laughs, the guidance, and the support. It truly is special being a part of Nelson's family. Thank you to the assistant coaches that work so hard to put up with so much of my crap. Brad Ferguson, Jenny Sweeten, Nick Vaccaro, Brian Flynn, Stephen Hassan, Leah Congrove, Chad Pearson, and Michelle Chewins. The 2006 men's cross-country team was the first group to really buy in and show what was capable of being accomplished at UNCG. Although we did not win that SoCon title, those guys paved the way for the later successes in the program that were built upon the foundation they laid. In 2011, we did something special and swept the SoCon team and individual titles in cross-country. It was an amazing season full of memories I'll always cherish, all of it made possible by some of the most wonderful athletes I've ever had the pleasure of being around. Thank you to all the student athletes who trusted me with their careers. It's an honor that I didn't take lightly, and I will always be grateful for your belief in me as a coach. I wish I could name all of you. I don't have the time, so I want to name a few. Thank you to Stephanie Vaccaro and Naomi Damore, the original two. Andy Klein, AJ Savoya, Tiffany Burnett, and Michelle Chewins, my first class. Joey Thompson, for pushing me hard to be the best coach and recruiter I could be before he even set foot on campus. Hall of Famers Ashley Schnell and Paul Chelimo for setting the standard. Future Hall of Famers committee, Paul Katam, Chelsea Hartness, and Shayna Kernodle for continuing to push the program to the highest levels. I wish I had time to mention everybody who made my time at UNCG special, but I love and appreciate you all. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey. I'll forever be grateful for you being a part of mine, and I accept this honor on your behalf.
Congratulations, Linh. All right, welcome to the stage now, our last inductee this year, Kareen Qually Nelson, with her presenter former women's golf coach and now UNCG Hall of Famer, MaryBeth McGirr.
What a thrill to get to be here and to be inducted to the Hall of Fame and then do it with one of your players. It's really a great honor. But I had the honor and privilege of recruiting and coaching Kareen Qually Nelson for 4 years at UNCG. Having a stellar junior golf record in Canada, she was heavily recruited throughout her senior year, and having her older sister already in our program must have helped us to get her here. Kim was a two-sport athlete, but I think it helped because they were from a very small town, and I think her parents felt comfortable sending them both to the same place out of that small town in Alberta. Olds, Canada, as I reminded her, Alberta. Kareen was a joy to coach, and she worked diligently on her game with the aspiration of playing professional golf. She and Becky Morgan and Kareen's sister Kim were quite a 1-2-3 punch. Kareen and her team also excelled in the classroom, and our team cumulative GPA was often in the 3.5 grade point average or higher. So they were definitely great athletes and great scholars. Kareen was a 4-time All-Big South Conference selection, and in 95-96, our teams won Big South Conference championships. She qualified for the NCAA regionals 3 times in her career, and in 1994, she placed 4th in the Big South Championship. Yesterday, as I was driving up Interstate 95, I went by the Edisto Beach exit, and I remembered Kareen being in the playoff for the individual title there. It was really brought back a lot of memories, just driving on I-95. Kareen also had lots of top 10 finishes as well. She was named to the All-Big South Conference All-Decade team. That was quite an honor. While attending UNCG, Kareen was the runner-up at the 1994 Canadian Ladies Amateur National Championship. She then earned a prestigious spot representing Canada at the 94 World Amateur and the 95 Canadian Ladies Golf Association Commonwealth team. Kareen went on to win the 98 Canadian Amateur National Championship, played on the 98 and 99 Canadian national teams. These accomplishments earned her a spot in the Alberta, Canada Golf Hall of Fame as its youngest inductee ever. That's quite an accomplishment for a young 35-year-old. She played professionally on numerous tours, including the Futures Tour, Canadian Tour, South African Tour, and the Australian Tour. Not many golfers can boast having played as an amateur and professional on 6 different continents. Maybe Kyle, perhaps, different countries. But over the course of 7 years as a professional golfer, Kareen won 2 events and qualified for 4 LPGA events. It's my pleasure to present to you my dear player, Kareen Qually Nelson.
Thank you, MaryBeth, and big congratulations to you today and to all the inductees. I feel very honored and humbled to be in such great company, but it's such a treat to have a good reason to come back here again. I will admit I was completely shocked when I received the call this summer, but I'm grateful for the chance to reflect on my journey to UNCG, my time here and the opportunities that I've had, and to give thanks to the people who have supported me along the way. These things have shaped me not only as an athlete, but as a wife, a mother, a friend, and the person I've become today. I have to begin by thanking Nelson Bob. Nelson was our athletic director at the time and a huge part of what made UNCG so enticing. The value he placed on growing the athletics at UNCG to this competitive Division I program and transforming the sports venues on campus to world-class levels, Nelson Bob created a legacy that continues to shape the culture of the school today, and I was so fortunate to play here under his leadership. On top of his large-scale visions, he took the time to get to know and truly care for every athlete here on campus. To my coach, MaryBeth, I'm especially grateful today to get the chance to properly thank you for all your coaching, your hard work, mentoring, care, and support. MaryBeth wore many hats as our women's golf coach, whether it was fixing our short game, teaching us punch shots on the driving range, helping us with our course management during practice rounds, all in the rain, cold, or heat, leading workouts, organizing team bonding, or helping us manage our time as student athletes. She was constantly having to switch between these roles, and she made it look very easy. Perhaps what she deserves the most credit for, and Tiffany, you can probably attest, is driving our big blue van up and down the East Coast while having to listen to our team sing very loud and very tunelessly to every Hootie and the Blowfish or Spin Doctor song on the radio. I would also like to thank MaryBeth for one of the long-lasting values she taught me, the value of friends. MaryBeth and her friends shared a saying, "What are friends for if you can't use them?" She would often enlist her network of friends to enrich our lives as athletes, students, and humans. Friends like Sherry Turner, a playing professional who would take the time to come and play with us, inspiring us on the golf course. To fellow coaches like Beans Kelly and Diane Doherty, who would enjoy tournament dinners with us, teaching us about friendship and fellowship, even amongst our competitors. And countless other friends like Lori Redding and Sherry and Tom Thorne, who would have us over for team dinners, sharing their values of friendship and community. And MaryBeth, in turn, would give in any way she could to her network of friends, her players, and her community, sharing gifts with anyone who could use them. Far beyond golf, I'm grateful to have learned such life lessons from you. And to my family, from my parents who raised me, supported me, and taught me this wonderful sport, supported my journey to UNCG, to my sister, who I was lucky enough to follow here a year after she came to play for MaryBeth on the golf team, and Lynn Agee on the basketball team. And to what became my college family, Don and Jackie Gregory, local parents of fellow teammate Ann Gregory, who took my sister and I in for family dinners, long weekends when the dorms were closed, and even cooked us full turkey dinners for every Canadian Thanksgiving in October, since we couldn't get home to celebrate. I'm incredibly grateful to be sharing this moment with my husband, Barry, and my two wonderful children, Paige and Graham, who are here with me today. They mostly know me in my post-golf career, so it's a real privilege to get to share some of these memories with them this weekend. Thank you again to UNC Greensboro, to the people who have been part of my journey, and to the selection committee, to Chancellor Gilliam, Brian Mackin, Danielle Sandridge, Mike Roach, and everyone who made this event possible. Thank you.
All right, got a few housekeeping things first before we end. Want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for their work on this nominating class. If the Hall of Fame committee could please stand so we could thank them, we'd greatly appreciate it. Stand up, Kathy, Tom, thank you. Want to give another shout out to Danielle Sandridge for her help in getting the event organized and communication. She did a tremendous job, so thank you, Danielle. We will soon be getting planning for our next induction class. So if you have anyone you'd like to nominate, there's some QR codes on the table there. You can, that'll take you directly to the online nomination form, and you can nominate somebody. The deadlines for nominations for the next class is January of 2025. As soon as I'm done talking with this basically last paragraph, I'd like all inductees to go to the banner back there and get a class picture of the induction class this year. I know some people have to leave very soon, so if we could do that first. If you want pictures with family, teammates, etc., we'll take those. Again, as a reminder to the inductees, we'll send you a link with all the pictures, videos, etc. late next week, so you can see everything there, okay? With that, this concludes it. Hall of Fame ceremony. Congratulations to this year's class. Safe travels, and go Spartans.